day to be alive. It's beautiful. So I'm always humbled when I'm asked to speak a little bit because every one of us has an amazing story, survivor and caregiver. And so I think they just asked me to speak because the word got around that I'm talkative or something, or a ham. But anyway, so here I am, and I'm hoping to encourage you this morning. I just want to tell you a little bit about my cancer journey and some things that I learned through each experience. I've got lots of ribbons on. I was diagnosed first with bone cancer when I was 17, and many of my classmates I've seen this morning, and I was largely supported by this community through fundraisers and just encouragement, and my family support is strong. And that was a very grueling year of treatment. And for those of you who have pediatric cancer patients or survivors in your family, you know that pediatric cancers are treated very aggressively. So I spent most of my senior year of high school in the hospital in Ann Arbor. And that was very difficult, but again, through the support of community here and the community that I formed in the hospital, I made it through. My mother was my caregiver, my father keeping everything together, and I just feel like the caregiver is a survivor as well. So through that time, I really held on to the scripture from Jeremiah 29:11 that says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans for hope and a future." And so I really held to that I would have a future as a 17-year-old cancer patient. And I did have a future. I had, today, actually, everyone, this is my 26-year bone cancer-free anniversary today. Thank you. It's also my 12-year wedding anniversary, and my husband was gracious enough to allow me to come and share with you. So he's back home in Illinois, and I'm here partying with you. So anyway,
We'll tell him thank you.
well, I will pass that on. I'll tell him thank you. And what's really frustrating as a survivor is those checkups. So any one of us who have already gone through our treatments and we continue on and we have to go for checkups, there's a little bit of anxiety every time you have to go back and make sure everything's okay. And so it was devastating for me when in January of 2014 when my mom was actually diagnosed with breast cancer. And she had been my caregiver, and I was a state away, and I was like, how can I help? And a year and a month later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer as well. So we went through treatment together, basically. And this month marks, June 21st will mark my 2-year breast cancer anniversary. So that's why I have all these ribbons on. 26-year bone cancer survivor, 2-year breast cancer, and I was a caregiver for my mom. So cancer is really a family experience, it's a community experience, and I think that this community here is beautiful in just, it's in supporting the cancer patient, supporting the cancer survivor, and supporting the caregiver. Some things I learned during this last cancer experience was I really wanted to focus on purpose because I could have been really angry. Like, why do I have cancer again? And what is going on? And why does this keep coming into my life in one way or another, into, family, friends, loved ones? But what I realized was I can use what I'm learning and what I'm experiencing to hopefully encourage and bless other people. And so I started a blog initially, right when I was diagnosed. In fact, just before I was diagnosed. And so I just wanted to put my story out there very openly, very honestly. I wanted to talk about things that people don't like to talk about, just to encourage other people and to show that really there's no meaningless suffering. there's meaning in the midst of everything we experience. And if we use our pain to empower and encourage other people, then in some ways that pain is lessened. And if you've experienced that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If that's the way that you use your pain and your struggles, by just wanting to encourage and reach out to others, then you know what I mean. So I just want to encourage you this morning. I want to bless you this morning, survivors, caregivers, just to remember that this struggle is not without purpose and it's not without meaning, that in every moment there's meaning. And if we just reach out to each other to lift each other up and encourage each other and support one another, much the way you're doing this morning, then there's even more meaning in the midst of that struggle and pain. So thank you for inviting me here this morning, and you're all beautiful, and happy to see you, and happy to get to experience this victory walk with you this morning.